Hey everyone, good afternoon. I am so excited to be here today. It is Friday, June 18th, I believe. My name is Janice Malillo, and I am here with one of my amazing co-authors who I have had the privilege of working with in all the authors interviews. We really just can't wait for our viewing audience and our readers to kind of get a little backdrop to our authors and find out a little more about them. So today I have the honor and privilege of introducing and interviewing Lydia. Lydia, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Janice.
You're so welcome. Before we get started, how is the weather in your area today?
It's going to be 97, they said. It's going to be really hot.
I hope you have that AC on.
I don't have one here, but it's really green and beautiful outside my window here, and we're under the trees. So luckily we have a little shield, and it's kind of fresh.
Well, that's good. Now, the background does look familiar to me. I assume you're sitting at the desk or the computer where you crafted your story.
It's true. This is where I sit when I do my work. Here's my living room. I've got the baby's guitars hung up, and we try to keep this kind of a nice, inspiring space in here.
And it really sounds like that, and especially how you describe, looking out and seeing the outside. And it's almost, I would say it has to be kind of an inspirational thing, especially when writing. So obviously, I want to kind of dive a little bit into the writing process. Will you share with our viewing audience, is this your first time being involved with an anthology?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yes, this is the first time I've written anything to be published, the first time I've written as a group. And I haven't really done very many group projects in my life in general, because I'm not the biggest joiner in some ways. So this has been a really interesting experience, to get to write with the group of ladies that we did this time.
That's wonderful. And now I'm going to be asking you some questions, obviously, about your story, which, I obviously have had the privilege and honor of knowing exactly what your story is about, as I do with all the other authors that are involved with this project. And I just want to read your quote back to you. Okay. Because I really want to start there, and just so that our viewing audience knows, every author that has submitted their story has also a quote that they chose to kind of go along with that. And without giving obviously too much away about Lydia's story, I want to read this back to you, Lydia. I would not wish my life on anyone, but I wouldn't trade it for anything either. That's very profound. What does that mean to you?
That's one of those things where, you've had a lot of maybe pain in your life and things like that, and you certainly wouldn't want anyone to have to experience the sort of downs that go along with some of the things that I've been through. But at the same time, without that stuff, I don't think, you have to be thankful for all the good stuff on the other side of it that comes out of that in a weird way. So I wouldn't trade some of the highs that I've had after the lows, because you realize who you're really connected to, you realize who has your back, and who your family is, and what's really, really important in life in general and in your life.
I couldn't agree with you more. And as you were saying that, I made the connection with your eyes and the expression, and there's a lot of depth in that. And you said it so eloquently, oops, tongue twister on that one. But you said it in a way that it's like you were honoring your journey, good, bad, and different, high, low, here, there, everywhere kind of thing. And you're on the other side, meaning life experiences throw us that curveball, right? But you've come out on the other side, and I know that there's so many women out there and men as well
Yeah.
who have been through an experience like that. And so what I want to ask you, and then we'll obviously get back to your story a little more, is there like one tip or a piece of advice that you could give your reader that's reading your story? What is one thing that you would want to say to them?
I just think, even though, yeah, I mean, it's easy to say, don't give up hope, but I think it's a cliche for a reason. And it's because you don't know what could happen the next day. You never know what could happen the next day. Something amazing could happen, and just hold on and just wait. Just stand there with an empty cup and just, it hurts like hell, but just wait it out, wade through it as long as you can, as much as you can. I mean, obviously mitigate damages and do what you can with your self-care in the midst of things, but I just don't give up. Do not give up, because something amazing could happen just right around the corner. Things change on a dime all the time. So.
And right, you are so right. And it's almost like the dime factor, there's two sides to a coin, and things can change on a dime. And it's almost as if you have flipped your story around. Like, okay, here's all the stuff, like all this stuff happened. And
this is a super long, sad story.
but it's inspirational because, as you said, to never give up, never give up on that hope. And I think that is a very poignant point to make about your story. And I know that obviously there were some influential people in your life who helped shape or mold you, who were there with you, or who maybe were not there with you. And sometimes when we talk about those different situations, it kind of, gets us right here. When you think of people that were involved in your life, and I kind of know the answer to this. Obviously, you're a mom, and that is very important to you. So tell us a little bit about being a mom, what that means for you, and tell us a little bit more about your little one.
Little Marshall. He's 3 years old now. He's pretty spirited little guy. He teaches me new stuff every day. He's taught me that pretty much everything is a fan and has a fan inside of it. So who knew?
And it has a fan.
Has a fan, like everything is a fan, from like our ceiling fan to engines, to any type of engine has a fan in it. He's explained to me. He's like, look, Mom, there's a fan in there. And it's just a type. He'll see that shape everywhere. And so he's kind of taught me like more about machinery and things that I never would have noticed. And he's only 3 years old. Or he'll teach me about different music that I wouldn't have paid attention to before. He loves Satriani. He's like really, he pretends to melt faces with his guitar.
Oh my gosh, out of the mouths of babes, right?
And yeah, just getting to have any of this time with him and this experience, sharing. I think, when you're a kid and you think, oh, well, I'm going to be this kind of a mom, and I'm not going to do what these guys did. And my kids don't have to wear turtlenecks and corduroys and moon boots. Or just like the promises you make as a kid, you're like, I'm not going to let my kids do that, or I'm not going to, but you have all these intentions. And then just to get to actually try that out and try to fulfill some of it. And no pressure, of course, but trying to fulfill all those intentions.
Yeah. And I think it's so funny that you mentioned corduroys, because not many people know what that is. Just say. I know exactly how you feel about corduroys. I got all the hand-me-downs from my older sisters, and yuck, I think about it and I'm like, yuck. But anyways, This interview is not about me and my issues with corduroy, just say.
No turtlenecks, I
No
promise.
internal necks, right? Like, who invent? Well, never mind. This isn't
When
about
you're in third grade, you tell yourself, you know, I'm gonna. But I wanted to be like my mom, though, in a lot of ways. So I always did look forward to getting to do those kinds of things with my kids that she did with us. So I think that's pretty neat. So I get to hopefully make her proud a little bit.
I'm sure she is, and that is wonderful. And you know, moms, you know, that they're obviously amazing. And I want to go back to your son for a moment, looking at everything as fans, because I think that is kind of, when I think about your story and how that relates to your story. For instance, I have the fan on right now, and it wishes around, right? It swishes around and it circulates the air. But I think on, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think on a really different personal level, that your story has circulated
Mm,
in a way
mhm.
that can be associated with the fan. And I kind of picked that out, and I was like, wow.
I like that. That's fun. I love the symbology like that. That's a neat idea. Just to be able to take everything that happened and and spin it and turn it around and make it so that it happens for you, as they say,
Mhm.
happening to you, so that I can take all the stuff that I learned and hopefully, yeah, like hold space for someone else. I can actually be there when someone's going through something difficult without running away and shying away from someone else's pain and someone else's difficulty, and just going through all the stuff I did to get to have my son. I think to now be able to turn that around and make a positive out of it is really my goal, and has been the process of healing and all that stuff.
Yes. And, you know, again, it goes back to, we're all presented with a worst case scenario, right? And what you do and how you go forward, we never want to stay where we are in a worst case scenario. And I just think that it's amazing that through all of this, you have stayed very hopeful and positive. So in closing, if you could just share with us maybe another tip for your reader who wants to contact you, like how would they get a hold of you?
Well, I'm building my website up again. It's almost done. So they can reach me at lifecoachingbylydia.com, or my business name is Creative Life Coaching. I'm learning so much about helping people with their creativity now. That's been something I've been adding to my repertoire. And let's see, how else? Yeah, lydiaday@hotmail.com. Reach me there. And then, yeah, if you can reach out, yeah, Google the Creative Life Coaching by Lydia and call me.
I love that, creative life coaching. Okay, folks, you heard it here from Lydia, creative life coaching. How are you, the reader, the listener of this broadcast, how are you going to change around your worst case scenario? Well, we have just the gal for you, creative life coach Lydia. Give her a call. Lydia, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to share this space with you and allowing me to do your interview. It's been an honor and privilege. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Janice. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Okay, take care.